Hi, I'm James from Bespoke Airsoft and welcome back to Bringing It Home, and in this episode we're taking a look at the 1911s brought to you by Secutor, which is the Rudis. So we've actually covered the Rudis a few times before in the past on the YouTube channel. We've actually done a review on the second line of Rudis models that they released. If you haven't checked that out, go and check that out already. That was a show we used to do called On the Counter. But for all intensive purposes, there are three different lines of Rudis pistols, not including the Magnas. So you've got the first line that they brought out, which was pretty much all the same pistol. They had like a speckly grey frame, and you could have it with a black barrel, a silver barrel or a gold barrel. That was the first three 1911s they brought out. Like I said before, all OEM'd by KJ Works. They make phenomenal CO2 pistols. The second line they brought out was the ones that we covered in a review previously on the table, which they did a grey, they did a black and they did a bronze. The bronze was very, very nice. Etching on those was really good as well. Same base pistols, but just the playing around with the externals, they're playing around with different designs and such, and these ones are the last three that they released for the Secutor Rudis line. So same red and white cardboard box with obviously the guy on the front with a Spartan sword. Love it or hate it. Nice little box here, foam lined. You've got your manual here, you've got your little bits and pieces that come extra with it, black grips, because these pistols do have some funky grips on them. So I'm going to set the box to one side. This one first that we've taken out of the box is the Typhon model. We've got another one here which is the Nomad. Let's remove this here. All the bits that you get spare in the box are the same between the models. So that's the Nomad. And then finally we have the Multicam. So let's get these unwrapped. They all have the magazines pre-installed in the box. 1, 2, and 3. So if you've seen the video before, these have all the same internals and functionality as the first Rudis pistols that we had. The difference is here obviously on the externals. So for those of you that haven't seen those videos, we've got a full metal frame here and we've got a full metal slide. Obviously functions all the same as well. We've got a 14mm counterclockwise thread on this barrel, so fitting your suppressors and your flash hiders you can do just like the other models. But just like the Bellum Customs, you have this 3D printed compensator on the front here, which you can remove, just secured to the thread protector with a grub screw that's found on the bottom. Nice slide serrations here with the sword logo on the barrel there. 1911 style CO2 magazines, they're all the same in all the line. You've got some nice cutouts on the trigger, and the hammer of course is all the same on the models as well. Grip safety, thumb safety, black barrels on all these models, and then you've got Secutor Dicit Iminicus Select, if I've got that right. If I haven't, please don't crucify me. So all these models are pretty much the same. The only difference is the grips that they come with. So the Multicam, obviously you get Multicam style grips here. You do get black included in the box as well. Going over to the Nomad, you've got sort of like a Cryptek style desert pattern on there. Very, very nice. And then with the Typhon, you've got the sort of the blackish or greyish style Cryptek. Now from what I can tell here, the grips that they include on the pistol in the box, so the coloured grips, they're actually hollow, which you can hear. So normally these style of grips come weighted and they have like a metal weight behind the grip, which you can tell when picking these up, they're a little bit lighter. The black grips in the box have those metal weights in there. I'm not sure if they're convertible over to these grips, but if you do want to switch them over, you can do if you want to. Same slide serration on all models, same 3D printed compensator there. Lovely white dots on the iron sights. The iron sights are really nice and easy to use. They've got a lovely finish on them. It's a really nice matte black, none of this glossy stuff that some manufacturers like to do. But like I say there, full metal 1911, CO2 powered, OEM by KJ Works. They really know what they're doing with their 1911s. The Rudises have been a really reliable platform that Secutor did because of who they've used for the OEM, and I imagine they're going to be the same with the Bellums as well. Very, very nice. If you've held a lot of 1911s, you will see some similarities here. You've got a rail on the bottom there for your flashlights and your lasers. Unfortunately, just like the Bellums, you've got nowhere to put an optic on the top here like an RMR, but the next video that we'll be doing on the Magnas, you'll see if you want to fit RMRs, that is probably going to be the pistol for you. So the only weird thing that I found, and these have all been pulled out of stock out of our warehouse, so it's no samples or anything like that, these are all brand new pistols. The only thing that I found strange with these camo gripped style 1911 Rudises is that in the box there's no downgrade valve. And it looks like the downgrade valves, looking inside, are actually fitted into the pistols from the get-go. I don't know if that restrictor is removable. It looks like it's got a little thread on there, so maybe they're just putting them in the box now, so if you want to remove them to get higher FPS, you just literally screw them out. We'll see on the chrono readings in just a moment. But these have been around for a while now, this platform. They do it really well. There's loads of different styles. If you don't like the camo grips and the compensator on this style, they do the sort of more tactical ones, which are the second ones, which they do the black, they do the grey, and they do the bronze, and then you've got the original models which are grey and they come with different coloured barrels. So before we get to fitting a CO2 capsule in this, it's obviously to take off the slide, you just want to lock the slide to the rear, and then if you basically just push down on the slide release, let it a little bit forward, you'll see there's a little notch in the slide, and then all we want to do is you want to push out the pin. You can use many different tools, or your fingers if you've got pointy fingernails to do that. Pull that lever out, let the slide forward, and the slide comes off. Now this does have a hop wheel, much like other airsoft pistols on the market, so changing the hop setting is going to be a lot easier than with the Bellums, so you have to use that little Allen key. So we'll just put that back on there. Just put the slide back on. Line up that little notch with the opening. And push this in. What's nice to know is that these pistols, as well as the Bellums and the other pistols that Secutor do, it does seem like they come slightly oiled from the factory, which is nice, which is why you sometimes get a bit of surface oil and such. This is a nice feature. It's better than shipping these guns absolutely dry or caked in transport grease, which some manufacturers do. But what I found with the Secutor CO2 pistols from the KJ Works OEM, they're very nicely greased out of the box. You haven't really got to mess with them. So to fit the CO2 capsule, you'll take your Allen key that's provided in the box. You'll unscrew the bottom screw on the magazine here. You're going to have a sticker here, which you might have to pull off. So same Crossman CO2 bulb. Let's take that sticker off there. So we place the CO2 capsule in like that. It only goes in one way, it won't go in from the other way. And then like before, you take up the slack like that and then get prepared to turn it. So you'll hear it hiss, you go past that till you feel a bit of resistance. You don't want to go too strong with these because you can damage the needles on the top of the magazine. So there is 0.2 gram BBs in here. Let's put some in. We're going to be doing a range test anyway, so let's just whack a load of ammo in here. But to me, if you're going to use a 1911, again, this is going to sound really strange for those, and you're probably going to think I'm a fanboy, but over the however many years of experience that I have with airsoft, this is always the case. If you're going to use a 1911, you either use a CO2 1911 or you use a Marui. WE's a single stack and they struggle. They do struggle. They're very nice pistols, and in the summer months they're much better. But they're a single stack magazines. They don't have as much ammo as a double stack, and 9 times out of 10 you won't get the full magazine out unless you're in warm climates or using a lot more powerful gas. Maruis seem to cope with it really well, and they're double stacked, so normally you can get the full 24, 25 rounds, whatever it is, out of them. And of course CO2 bodes really well too. So if you're going to use a CO2, if you're going to use a 1911 and you want it full metal, in my opinion, whatever manufacturer you go with, make sure it's CO2, because you want that hard kick. You don't want it to flutter and fart its way through a game day. You want to put a CO2 capsule in here and be ready to go. So before I load this pistol up, safety first kids, I'm going to get me Terminator specs on here. We're going to turn the camera on and the chrono. And the one thing you will hear from these is they're very, very loud, and they've got a very, very high kick. So let's place this in. Let's wrap the slide. So we've got one loaded. Get a Duff CO2 capsule. So we've got a fresh CO2 capsule here. I don't know what was wrong with that one, so let's put this in. So that is sealed. Some more BBs in the magazine. Let's try for take 2. Chrono is on. So much better. So I think it was a capsule that was playing up. So we're about 260ish on the FPS there on the last shot. Like I say, these have got the restrictor valves in, so why they're fitting these in the pistols now I don't know. Perhaps they just want them a lot lower in terms of power. I presume you can take these out, but don't take my word for it, just check before you obviously do so. But nice respectable FPS there with the restrictor valves. Nice and warm, so you know, you're sort of about a joule or just under, like I've said before. It'd be nice if they included the 2 nozzles in the package like the other Rudis pistols and the Bellums and such they've done before, because these, if you're running a CO2 pistol, especially if you're in the UK, you're going to be buying it to run in colder weather, because CO2 is much more capable gas in cold weather compared to like propane based stuff like green gas. So we had some camera trouble there, as always. Memory card fault, don't know where it's got up to until obviously I look at it in editing. But obviously I'll do a recap because I'm not sure where in the review it got to. We had some issues with the capsules, one of the Crossman's capsules. I don't know why, for some reason it was playing up. I don't know why Secutor have included the restrictor valves, the restrictor nozzles in the guns and not giving you the other one. I think that's a bit of a step backwards in my opinion, because you can tell when firing this thing that it's slightly restricted. A couple of the first shots, you know, are going to come out a little bit more powerful, but as it sort of settles in, you're going to feel that sort of decrease in FPS that you get. You'll see from the firing 10-meter firing range that I'll put up in just a moment, the groupings are really tight actually. I was aiming in the centre of the target, I was hitting high left, but the grouping you can see is actually quite commendable. So I would have liked to have seen the full power nozzles included in the box and the restrictor ones separate as they have done in the past. Why they've done it with these models I do not know, but I'm sure if you really wanted to find out you could talk to Secutor and they may respond and tell you. But same great feeling, great performing, as you can see, as you will see from the firing demonstration. 1911s from them. Just that nozzle's a bit of a mystery for me. The compensators are 3D printed. To be honest, I mean, these ones, I don't know if these ones are 3D printed. They might be cast. They're not the best quality in my opinion for what you're paying, but it's a nice little feature on there. You're only going to see it from afar anyway, so it's a nice little extra giving you. You can take it off if you don't like it, of course. The FPS, you'll see on the chart that we did, was that on average, I've tested these pistols a little bit, they're about 280, and they sort of settle down to around the 259, 260 mark, because they've got those restrictor valves in. Like I said, don't know why I keep repeating myself, but I don't know why they've done it. I just don't get it. I don't understand why. But still, even at that lower FPS reading, you'll see from the 10 meter firing test that it still does very, very well. We just had that 140 CO2 capsule that for some reason wouldn't release pressure. Perhaps it didn't pierce the end quite well, but it could just be a fault down to this. It's the same magazine that I've used. I've just put a new capsule in there, and it was shot absolutely fine, so absolutely superb. If you're going to run a 1911, a full metal 1911 that is, I think CO2 is the way forward unless you're using HPA. Some of the high cappers are a bit better because they have a wider magazine, so they hold more gas. But if you're running like a single stacked or a slim style, more natural 1911 with a frame, run CO2 because you're just going to get more from it. You're just going to have to watch that FPS reading when you go into sight. I know a lot of sites are chronoing CO2 pistols now just to make sure they're not over it, seeing the benefit of everyone's safety, of course. Very nice pistol. I think the other variants that they do perhaps give you a little bit more compared to this, but if you do want some nice camo grips, what I have seen on the multicam style grips for sure is that the grips aren't all the same in their pattern. So I imagine they've done a batch of them. If they've dipped them, they look like they've been dipped, but the one that we saw actually when we went to the British Shooting Show and we got it out on show was the whole grip was green and it just had one little blob of tan. And you probably would be a little bit disappointed if that was if you were buying it, of course, but it's got to be mentioned. Really nice iron sights, really nice QC on these. They're very, very nice. They feel great. There's not much slop in the slides whatsoever. They've got a nice sort of design in terms of how they're done externally along with the other models that they do. If you want something a little bit more realistic, you might have to look elsewhere, but from a distance, no one's really going to know anyway. So for this and many other Secutor products, go to our website, bespokeairsoft.co.uk. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook and YouTube for more content. Stick around because we've got more Secutor products coming up this week, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.